There will come a time when someone walks out of your life, or changes in ways you never expected. The pain feels sharp, not because they left, but because you were attached. You tied your peace to their presence, your worth to their approval, and when that bond breaks, you're left with a storm inside. But Marcus Aurelius taught us differently. He reminded us that true peace comes not from others, but from mastering ourselves. You have power over your mind, not outside events, he said. This is the heart of Stoic detachment, not coldness but clarity, not shutting down emotion, but rising above it. Stoicism doesn't teach you to feel less. It teaches you to feel rightly, to think clearly, to see life as it is, not as you wish it to be. It teaches you to stand still while the world moves, to let go without falling apart. Today we'll uncover 10 Stoic rules to help you emotionally detach, not to escape love, but to escape suffering. These teachings will free your mind, strengthen your spirit, and restore your control. Detach not to become less human, but to become more whole. Let's begin. Number 1. Rule yourself first, not others. When someone disappoints you, betrays you, or walks away, your first instinct might be to ask, "Why did they do this to me?" But Stoicism teaches us to ask a better question: what is in my control right now? Marcus Aurelius believed that all pain begins when we try to rule the wrong domain, the thoughts, choices, and behaviors of others. But the Stoic path begins when you shift your focus inward. Rule yourself first. That is your true kingdom. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just advice. It's a commandment for inner peace. When you're emotionally attached to someone, you're often trying, silently or not, to control how they treat you, how they love you, or whether they stay. But this effort is like trying to control the wind. The more you chase it, the more exhausted you become. Detachment starts with understanding that your emotions, your thoughts, and your responses are the only things that truly belong to you. Instead of wasting energy trying to change someone's behavior, redirect that energy to changing your perspective. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that's hurting me? Many times, it's not the person we're attached to, it's the story we've told ourselves about them. Stories of how it should have been, how they were supposed to treat us, or how they were supposed to stay. Stoicism invites you to burn these stories in the fire of reason and walk forward with clarity. When you take full responsibility for your inner world, something powerful happens. You stop being a slave to external events. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop needing closure from someone else to move on. You begin to realize that peace doesn't come when others behave, it comes when you do. This is where emotional detachment finds its roots. It's not about ignoring people or pretending you don't care. It's about understanding that your peace is too valuable to be placed in someone else's hands. Rule yourself, your thoughts, your expectations, your reactions. That's not weakness, that's true strength. In moments of emotional pain, return to this one rule: control what's yours. Not their decisions, not their feelings, just yours. This is how Marcus Aurelius lived. This is how you detach without bitterness. And this is how you reclaim your power, by ruling your own mind, first and always. Number 2. Accept that all things end. Everything you hold today, every person, every relationship, every moment, is borrowed from time. And time always comes to collect. One of the deepest roots of emotional attachment is the illusion that what we love will last forever. But Marcus Aurelius reminded us that change is not the enemy, it is the nature of all things. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Detachment becomes easier when you stop resisting impermanence. The truth is, people change, Feelings fade. Life moves in cycles. We suffer not because something ended, but because we expected it wouldn't. The Stoic does not cling. He observes, accepts, and adapts. When someone walks away or drifts out of your life, it's not a betrayal of destiny, it's part of it. Marcus understood this. He viewed life like a river, always moving. If you try to hold the water in your hands, it slips through. But if you let it flow, it will take you where you need to go. Emotional pain deepens when you say to yourself, this wasn't supposed to happen, but what if it was? What if endings are not cruel, but necessary? The Stoic doesn't argue with life. He listens to it. He doesn't drown in loss. He learns from it. You are not here to possess people. You are here to experience them, grow through them, and then, when the time comes, let them go with grace. Even your own life is temporary, and if that is true, then how much more fleeting are the people who pass through it? Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is recognizing that you can love someone fully and still accept when their chapter in your life is complete. You can cherish the memory without clinging to the illusion. Instead of asking, how do I hold on? Ask, how do I move forward? Marcus Aurelius trained his mind each day to contemplate the end, not out of despair, but out of discipline. This practice made him strong, not numb. He faced life with open eyes, and that gave him peace no one could take away. Accepting that all things end doesn't make you weaker, it frees you. It allows you to stop gripping the past and start embracing the present. When you internalize this truth, you'll stop breaking every time something breaks away from you. You'll begin to walk lighter, love clearer, and live stronger, because nothing lasts forever. And that's exactly why your peace must. Number 3. People act according to their nature, not your hopes. One of the main reasons we struggle to emotionally detach from someone is because we're still holding on to who we thought they were, or who we hoped they'd become. We cling to the version we created in our minds, not the reality in front of us. But Marcus Aurelius offers us a sobering truth. People act according to their own nature, not our expectations, and no amount of hoping will change that. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." This wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. Marcus wasn't surprised by people's flaws, he expected them. And because he expected them, he didn't become a prisoner of disappointment. When we emotionally attach, we often build silent contracts. If I give this much, they should give the same. If I stay loyal, they should never leave. But people don't sign these agreements, and when they break your unspoken rules, it hurts, not because they've done wrong, but because you assumed they wouldn't. Let that go. Detach from the idea that someone should act differently just because it would feel better for you. The Stoic sees reality clearly. He doesn't say, they shouldn't have done that. He says, that's who they are. And with that understanding comes peace, not because the pain didn't happen, but because you no longer resist what is. The path to detachment lies in radical acceptance. Accept that not everyone values loyalty the way you do. Accept that some people will choose their comfort over your connection. Accept that you might have misjudged someone's depth. And once you do, you stop being confused. You stop replaying old conversations and wondering what went wrong. You realize that nothing went wrong. It just went the way it was always going to go, based on their nature. This isn't about being bitter or resentful. It's about seeing clearly, without illusion. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of expectations. When you expect someone to be different than they are, you suffer. But when you accept their nature, you let them go, not with hatred, but with understanding. Marcus Aurelius knew that peace is built not on people doing what we wish, but on us understanding why they don't. And when you truly grasp that, you no longer beg for closure or chase explanations. You simply say, I see now. And with that vision, you walk away, not in anger, but in strength. Emotional detachment becomes possible the moment you stop expecting figs in winter. Number 4. Detachment begins with self-respect. Emotional attachment often isn't about love. It's about need. We chase people, hold on to broken relationships, and tolerate disrespect, because, deep down, we've forgotten our own value. Marcus Aurelius understood this weakness of the soul, and warned us against letting our sense of worth depend on others. He believed that a person grounded in virtue does not bend for approval, nor beg to be chosen. Detachment doesn't begin by turning away from someone else. It begins by turning inward and rediscovering your own dignity. When you truly respect yourself, certain things become unacceptable. You stop over-explaining your worth. You stop tolerating one-sided affection. You stop trying to prove to someone why they should care. And most importantly, you stop handing your peace over to someone who has shown they don't know what to do with it. Marcus wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." He's reminding you, nothing is worth losing your integrity, not even love. Clinging to someone who makes you feel small, anxious, or invisible is a sign that you've made them your source of value. But Stoic philosophy teaches that value must come from within. You were not created to chase people. You were created to grow, to act with reason, and to walk with quiet confidence. The moment you stop trying to convince someone of your worth, you begin to reclaim it. This doesn't mean you shut your heart or wall yourself off from emotion. It means you establish a boundary, a line that says, I know who I am, and I will not let your behavior define me. Emotional detachment isn't about pretending not to care. It's about caring deeply, but about the right things: your peace, your principles, your path. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world of power, betrayal, and constant demands, and yet he never allowed the noise of others to drown out his inner standard. That's what Stoic detachment looks like. It's not weakness, it's strength trained through self-respect. It's the kind of calm that comes when you stop begging to be seen and start seeing yourself. If someone's presence in your life requires you to shrink, apologize for your existence, or question your worth, detach. Not because you hate them, but because you've chosen to honor yourself. And that choice is the foundation of lasting peace. Because once you respect yourself, you no longer fear who walks away. You trust who you've become, enough to stand alone. And in that space, emotional detachment becomes not just possible, but natural. Number 5. Real strength feels nothing excessively. There's a quiet kind of strength that comes from not being shaken by every emotion. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've trained your mind not to be ruled by what you feel. Marcus Aurelius believed in this kind of mastery. He knew that to live well, one must keep the emotions in check, not suppress them but shape them. And this is where real detachment begins, in learning to feel without falling apart. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." In other words, it's not what happens or how someone treats you that destroys your peace. It's your unchecked reaction. It's when your heart outruns your reason. Emotional attachment often turns love into obsession, care into control, and hurt into self-destruction. You begin to feel everything too deeply, and every small action or word carries too much weight. That's not strength, that's slavery to feeling. The Stoic detaches not because they are cold, but because they understand the danger of excess. Feeling too much, expecting too much, giving too much without wisdom, it leads to imbalance and suffering. To feel rightly is to put emotion in its proper place. It's to allow joy without becoming intoxicated by it, and to feel pain without collapsing beneath it. Marcus trained himself to observe his emotions like passing clouds, not to ignore them, but to recognize they are not permanent, and certainly not sovereign. You can feel hurt and still act with grace. You can feel love and still keep your standards. That's the balance Stoicism calls for. When someone leaves or disappoints you, it's easy to let grief or anger flood your mind. But that flood washes away your clarity, and the Stoic does not surrender clarity for anything, not even for heartbreak. Detachment is not the absence of feeling, it's the presence of discipline in the face of feeling. Don't numb yourself, that's not what Marcus taught. Feel what comes but filter it through wisdom. Ask yourself, is this emotion helping me see clearly? Is it building or breaking me? If it's doing neither, let it go. Not with resentment, but with calm intention. Real strength lies in moderation. It lies in being able to care deeply, but stay centered. To love someone without losing yourself. To experience life fully without being a prisoner to its storms. Because when you feel nothing excessively, you gain control over everything that once controlled you. And from that calm center, emotional detachment becomes a natural expression of your strength, not your shield but your standard. Number 6. Examine your attachments. They reveal your weakness. We don't become emotionally attached by accident. We become attached because something in us is reaching outward, trying to fill a space within. Marcus Aurelius believed that every desire must be examined, every attachment questioned. He didn't teach us to blindly reject emotion, but to investigate it. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? That simple question leads us to the truth. Most emotional suffering is rooted in unexamined dependence. Attachment reveals where we are still weak, where we rely on others to feel seen, worthy, or whole. And the stronger the attachment, the deeper the insecurity. You may think you love someone, but if their absence makes you collapse, you're not loving, you're clinging. And clinging always comes from fear. Fear of being alone, of not being enough, or of facing life without that emotional crutch. A Stoic sees this clearly. He steps back and asks, why do I need this person so much? What emotion am I afraid to face without them? When you trace your attachment to its root, you often find a fear you've been avoiding. That fear is your teacher, and detachment begins not by suppressing it, but by confronting it with reason. Examine the stories you tell yourself. Do you believe you can't be happy without them? That no one else will understand you? That they complete you? These thoughts might sound romantic, but they're chains in disguise. Marcus Aurelius would say, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts are filled with need, you will always feel incomplete, no matter who stays or goes. True strength isn't about not caring, it's about not depending. You can care for someone deeply and still recognize when your attachment is making you smaller, not stronger. The Stoic approach is to cut away what weakens your mind, not because it's bad, but because it's unworthy of your peace. Detachment is not something you force, it's something you grow into by questioning everything you emotionally rely on. If your happiness collapses when someone else walks away, then your happiness was never yours to begin with. Marcus Aurelius would tell you to build your joy on a sturdier foundation, one made of reason, self-respect, and alignment with nature. So take time to examine your attachments, not with judgment, but with honesty. What are they showing you about yourself? What fear are they covering? What part of you still believes you need saving? Because once you see clearly, you stop grasping. You no longer chase emotional comfort from others. You return to yourself. And from that place, detachment doesn't feel like loss. It feels like liberation. Number 7. Prepare to let go every single day. Detachment isn't a decision you make once. It's a discipline you practice daily. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He reminded himself often that everything he had, his position, his family, even his own life, was on loan from nature, and what is borrowed must be returned. The Stoic doesn't avoid this truth. He trains for it. Not to live in fear, but to live with freedom. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus wrote, "This wasn't meant to be morbid. It was a call to awareness. To prepare the mind to release what it clings to stop assuming that what we love will always be there, because that assumption is the root of most emotional suffering. When you wake up in the morning, you can carry two choices, attachment or readiness. If you carry attachment, every loss will feel like the end of the world. But if you carry readiness, you meet each moment with calm acceptance. This is the essence of Stoic detachment, not avoidance, but preparation. The daily mental rehearsal of letting go sharpens your emotional strength. We don't train for loss so that we stop loving. We train so that love does not become possession, so that care does not become control. Marcus understood this balance. He loved his children, his people, his duty, but he never allowed that love to weaken his grasp on reality. He was always ready to return what life had lent him, without bitterness. You can practice this too. Each day reflect briefly. If I lost this person, this opportunity, or this comfort, would I still be me? Would I still walk with purpose? Would I still choose virtue? These reflections don't make you detached from life. They attach you more deeply to truth. They free you from illusions of permanence. When we fail to prepare ourselves mentally for life's inevitable changes, we set ourselves up for devastation. Emotional detachment is the armor that comes from daily preparation. It doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you've made peace with the truth. All things end, and that's okay. So make it a practice, not just when things are hard, but every single day. Remind yourself that nothing is promised. Not the people you love, not the comfort you enjoy, not even tomorrow. And in doing this, you begin to value everything more, not less. Because when you're mentally prepared to let go, you start to hold things more gently. You stop gripping, you stop fearing. And in that space, peace flows naturally, not as something you chase, but as something you've trained for. Number 8. Replace attachment with purpose. One of the most effective ways to detach from someone emotionally is to shift your focus from feeling to doing, from attachment to action, from obsession to purpose. Marcus Aurelius didn't dwell endlessly on who hurt him, who stayed, or who walked away. He returned again and again to his duty, to what needed to be done. At every hour give your full concentration, do what you ought, with a serious and unaffected dignity. In those words lies the Stoic path to emotional clarity. When you are emotionally attached, your thoughts orbit around another person, what they said, what they didn't say, what they feel, what they should have done. You lose hours, days, even weeks, caught in a mental loop of wanting, needing, missing. But this mental loop steals your strength. It robs you of your ability to move forward. It makes your life about them, not about what you must do to become better, wiser, stronger. Marcus understood that too much thinking about others pulls you away from your path. He didn't allow feelings to distract him from his role as a leader, a philosopher, or a man of principle. He stayed rooted in the present by acting with purpose. Not waiting, not wishing, acting. Detachment doesn't require you to hate someone or erase your feelings. It simply asks you to recenter your life. Ask yourself, what am I here to do? Your answer might be to build something meaningful, to improve your health, to serve others, to grow wiser. But emotional attachment delays that mission. It keeps you stuck in yesterday. Purpose, on the other hand, grounds you in today. There's power in motion. When your energy is no longer tied to someone else's choices, you become free to make your own. You stop checking your phone for validation. You stop replaying old conversations. You stop wondering if they'll come back. Why? Because you're busy building the life you were meant to live. And in that, there is peace. Deep, steady peace. Marcus didn't pretend life was without pain, but he knew pain could be managed when the soul was disciplined. He returned to his purpose, like a soldier returns to battle, not to escape emotion, but to give it structure, to transform it into fuel. You can do the same. Channel your sadness into self-improvement. Channel your confusion into learning. Channel your anger into focused, steady progress. You don't need to erase your emotions. You just need to outgrow them with purpose. As soon as you start giving more energy to your mission than to your memories, emotional detachment will stop being something you try to force. It will become something you naturally feel. Because once you begin living with purpose, you'll realize no one is worth losing yourself over, and no attachment is greater than the one you build with your own destiny. Number 9. Let others belong to themselves. Emotional detachment becomes possible when you finally accept this timeless truth. No one belongs to you, not their time, not their affection, not their loyalty. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He lived among people with flaws, egos, betrayals, and yet he never sought to possess them. He saw each person as part of nature, following their own path, acting from their own reason, or lack of it. And so he reminded himself, what does not belong to you cannot be lost by you. We suffer because we forget this. We hold on too tightly. We confuse love with ownership. We believe that if someone cared once, they should always care, that if someone chose us before, they should never choose differently. But that is not how life works, and it is not how people work. Everyone is free, and the more you try to cage someone with expectations, the more you damage both yourself and the relationship. Let others belong to themselves. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop gripping. You give them the space to choose you freely, or to walk away. And if they walk, you don't crumble, because your peace wasn't dependent on their presence. That is the essence of Stoic detachment. It's not emotional isolation. It's emotional sovereignty. When you try to control someone's choices, even subtly, you poison the relationship. You turn love into tension, attachment into fear. But when you step back and allow them the dignity of their own path, you restore balance to them and to yourself. Marcus Aurelius didn't demand loyalty from those around him. He expected people to behave as people do, sometimes selfishly, sometimes honorably. And because he accepted that, he didn't lose himself when others disappointed him. He stayed anchored in who he was, not in who others chose to be. You must learn to do the same. Let people come and go. Let them be kind or unkind. Let them choose you, or not. What matters is that you stay aligned with your own principles, that you act with integrity, regardless of how others act. You are not here to manage their journey. You are here to walk your own with clarity and dignity. It's a difficult truth to accept, that some people will leave, and it has nothing to do with your worth. But it is also a freeing one, because the moment you release the illusion of control, you release the burden of trying to hold on to what was never yours to hold. So if you're clinging to someone right now, pause and ask yourself, am I honoring their freedom, or am I trying to turn them into something that serves my comfort? If it's the latter, it's time to let go, gently, respectfully, completely, because the highest form of love, and the highest form of detachment, is letting someone be exactly who they are, even if it means they're no longer by your side. Number 10. Return to the present. Detach from the story. Most emotional suffering doesn't come from what's happening right now. It comes from the story we keep telling ourselves about what happened or what might happen next. We replay old conversations, imagine different outcomes, and fill the silence with assumptions. But Marcus Aurelius warned against this kind of mental wandering. He believed peace lives in one place only, the present moment. Confine yourself to the present, he wrote, for that alone is truly yours. When you're emotionally attached to someone, your mind tends to drift. You think about the past, when they made you feel seen, loved, needed, or you fixate on the future, hoping they'll return, fearing they won't, wondering what you'll do if they choose someone else. And while your body is here, your mind is everywhere else. That split is where suffering breeds. But the Stoic returns. Again and again, he brings his attention back to now, because now is solid, now is manageable, and most of the emotional weight we carry loses its grip the moment we stop feeding it with memory and fantasy. To detach emotionally, you must learn to recognize when you're spiraling into the story. You'll know it by the feeling, tightness in the chest, restless thoughts, racing heart. That's your signal, not to resist it with force, but to gently return to the present, right here, this breath, this moment. You're not in that argument anymore. You're not in that goodbye. You're just here, and here, you are okay. Marcus Aurelius trained his mind like a muscle. He didn't let it run wherever it pleased. He brought it back with discipline. He saw how quickly the mind could become consumed by things it could not control, memories, fears, opinions of others. But he also saw that clarity and calm are always within reach, when you stay grounded in what is real, what is now. You can begin practicing this too. When emotions surge, pause and ask, what is actually happening right now? Often the present isn't nearly as heavy as the story. The past has no power, except what you give it. The future hasn't even arrived. Your strength lies in where your feet are. Detach from the story, not because the story wasn't meaningful, but because clinging to it is keeping you stuck. Every time you return to now, you reclaim your peace. Every time you break the loop, you rebuild your freedom. You cannot change what was. You cannot predict what will be, but you can choose how you live this moment. And that choice, repeated again and again, is how emotional detachment becomes your way of life. Not a forced practice, but a natural return to yourself. So when the mind wants to wander, remind it gently, stay here, this moment is enough. And in that stillness, you will find the strength to let go. Emotional detachment is not about becoming numb. It's not about shutting down your heart, or pretending you never cared. It's about learning to live with clarity, strength, and inner freedom, no matter who stays or who leaves. Marcus Aurelius didn't teach us to escape life. He taught us how to live it with courage. He didn't promise that we wouldn't feel pain, but he showed us how not to be ruled by it. Throughout these 10 Stoic rules, one truth has echoed: your peace depends on you, not on how others treat you, not on whether someone returns your love, not on promises kept or expectations met. Your peace begins and ends within your own mind. And Marcus reminded us of this constantly. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts are calm, disciplined, and rooted in virtue, no one, not even the person you loved the most, can take your peace from you. Detach not because you are bitter, but because you have chosen to respect yourself. Let go not to prove you don't care, but to protect the life you are still meant to live. Prepare each day to lose what is not yours to keep, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. And when you feel the urge to cling, return to your purpose, return to the present, return to yourself. In a world where people change, feelings fade, and nothing is promised, emotional detachment is not coldness, it is survival, it is clarity, it is the highest form of strength. So let these rules become your daily practice. Rule yourself first. Accept the end of things. Stop expecting others to follow your script. Respect yourself enough to walk away. Feel with balance. Question your attachments. Prepare for loss. Replace emotion with action. Let people be who they are, and come back again and again to the moment in front of you. Because the more you master your inner world, the less you'll be controlled by the outer one. That is the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, and that is the path to peace. Now carry this Stoic armor with you, not just in thought, but in action. Let go, stand tall, move forward. Your freedom begins now.